This week we bring you part 1 of our Great American Beer Fest recap. This is episode 93 of the Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's beast. This the Malting Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Malting Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
And
Dan.
Easy on the mic, Dan. Easy on the mic. I know we're not all there in the same place to control this, so just take it easy.
I can do whatever I want. You can't stop
me. You just back up from the mic. You don't need to lean into it every time. Okay? Try say it's Dan again.
It's Dan. Dan.
Perfect. That's all you need to do. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. It feels like the trip never ended talking with you guys right now.
Oh, that's sweet.
No, I mean that in the worst way possible. No, that was So if you guys listen to the podcast, I'm assuming you're following us on social media and you know that we were just at the Great American Beer Fest 40th anniversary in Denver, Colorado last weekend. And this is our recap show. And, right off the bat, I'm just going to say what a terrible, terrible time I had no longer being there because it was such a great time being at that festival. Even with you guys, it was a great time. I'm and I mean that. Because you guys, no, I really had a great time. It was fucking awesome, and it was great. I'm glad the three of us got to go and do this. Unfortunately, Clark did not get to join us. But what about you, Brandon? What just a quick takeaway before we get a little deeper into it?
Yeah, I mean it was super enjoyable. I will say it was super quick. Just that whole whirlwind of and even how we finished up Saturday and falling asleep, getting up hella early. It made me miss being able to stay in Denver a little bit longer. But the festival was great. Everyone was super chill and nice. We ran into some really cool people, and overall it was it. I think I had more fun this time than I did last time, I would say.
I did too, and I think that's because
I was there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. No, I was going to say no. It was no change. It was probably more fun with you, Dan. You did a lot of guiding. I felt like you guided us a lot at the end of Friday and the beginning of Saturday. I felt like we were chasing you, and I mean that in a good way. You had some places you wanted to hit up, and I felt like I got a chance to maybe try some beers I wasn't necessarily seeking out. If it wasn't for you. But Brandon, back to what you said about maybe having a little bit more fun this time. I think it's because we were already kind of used to it, and the first time we went back in, when was that again? 2018? If I remember correctly.
2018.
Yeah, that was such a fast trip. For me at least, I got there Friday night. We were hanging out at 11 o'clock at night, and then we went to the fest, and then we went to Oktoberfest, and then I was back at home by 10 o'clock, same way it was this time. But yeah, I think it was just a lot to take in on the first trip. Dan, this being your first trip, what was your impression, takeaway, from the fest?
I really liked it. I liked spending time with you guys. It was so Friday we went in, and it was a little overwhelming at first. And then Saturday, I felt like I had my head on my shoulders and I knew where everything was, and I was able to sort of plan my routes better as far as I want to go in this section. I want to hit bang, 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 and then go all the way over to, the numbers or the A's, and knew what to kind of hit there. Just knowing the lay of the land made it really smooth on the second day. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think just in general, the way it was laid out is I don't think you can do it any better than the way that they did it. But it is a lot to take in, especially if it's your first time going. Like I said, it was like you said too. It's a little overwhelming if that's your first time going. And if you can do it, really 2 sessions it sounds like it's a lot, but man, it made it a lot more interesting, and you got a chance to obviously try more. And if there was something that you liked from Friday or whatever day that you had missed, and you can go the next day to like seek that out right away, you've got that advantage as well. Before we get to the actual fest, we were lucky enough to be invited by Boston Beer Company and Dogfish Head to attend a brunch. Does anybody want to talk a little bit about that when we first landed? Right away, grabbed the car and headed straight to brunch to start drinking.
And it was ironic how like the timing worked out almost perfectly. I think we pulled up and parked at like 8:58
like
a.m.
8:55. Yeah, it was like 8:55.
And things started at 9-ish. I don't think they actually got going till it was closer till 10 o'clock when the speakers came. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect. And I don't think Tony or Dan, I don't think you guys did either. But when we got in there, we were kind of like looking at some of the material that they had, and we were kind of reviewing. Like they had a little QR code to scan, and it was labeled as Sam. I'm going to butcher his last name.
Calgione.
There it is. And I was going to say we can go to Dan for.
Well, we heard it two different ways there.
Yeah,
Calgione and Calgione.
That is true.
And Jim Cook speaking. Well, their names were listed as as their event, and then as we were kind of sitting there enjoying our delicious brunch that they served us, both of them walked in, and I was kind of blown away. It was like, it's if you're a beer nerd, that's like a celebrity that you want to run into,
Absolutely.
And we were fortunate enough to run into them and get to hear them speak and tell some stories.
Real quick, I forgot who I sent the picture to, but someone I think it was maybe my other buddy Dan. He had replied, "Hey, that's the guy from the commercial." Our picture with Jim Coke.
You sure he wasn't talking about me?
Maybe.
Dan, are you in a lot of commercials?
Yeah, are you in commercials we don't know about?
No, I don't know.
Are you doing ads on the side?
Gotta make some revenue.
Yeah,
that's how he funds the Hip Hops channel.
But yeah, so that it was super cool kind of seeing them and getting to hear them speak. And Rhinehouse is a cool spot. We got to go there before it opens to the public. They normally open at 3. We were there at 9 a.m. and they graciously made us some bomb ass food.
I was going to say the food was really good. And Dan, you're just vegetarian, right? You're not vegan.
Correct.
Okay, I should know that by now. For some reason in my head, all of a sudden I was like, wait, he might be vegan, but I know you're vegetarian.
Then he ate a lot of stuff he shouldn't eat.
I was going to say, yeah.
The 3 helpings of scrambled eggs that
I had. Right. Dead giveaway. Dan, how did you feel about that breakfast? Because it was. I mean, there's a lot of meat there too.
No, it was good. I mean, the Malting Hour turned into the potato hour, and we were like reviewing breakfast potatoes.
Yeah, 2 days in a row.
Yeah, no, the potatoes were good.
We'll do a breakfast. I think maybe for January, if we're not drinking, we should just do 4 episodes about food: breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. How's that?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good idea.
Sounds good.
We should do a kegs and eggs episode one day too. That was like our St. Patrick's Day episode. We just didn't eat. We just drank.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, it was great. The food was awesome. And I say of course, but it didn't click right away when I got there that obviously they're going to be serving beer when we get there. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, I'm like, well, we're civilized adults. It's a Friday morning. But we're in Denver for the Great American Beer Fest, invited by 2 breweries to have a brunch. So, of course, they're going to be serving beer. I got Sam Adams, just straight up Boston Lager. Do you guys remember what you got while you were?
I think we both had 60 Minute.
Yep.
And they also had,
that's right.
They had Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I'm trying to remember what else they had on tap.
I did have the Oktoberfest as well.
That is my other beer for this episode. I am drinking another beer right now, but I am going to have a Sam Adams Oktoberfest for this. So we're getting through the breakfast, and while we were sitting down to eat is when we saw Jim and Sam come in. Correct. And then all of a sudden it was, hey, there's going to be a presentation. If you guys also follow us on Instagram. I think we posted a picture of what was set up on the bar. If not, it'll be up there with this episode or whatever following this.
The whole week's going to be a lot of posting of the content.
Yeah. So just keep following us if you want to see more. There might be a video of one of us singing too. The first thing we got to try was Sam Adams' Utopias, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the 2000. I heard 2011. Did anybody else hear somebody say 2011?
So the dude that was serving said 2011, but then Jim Cook, when he looked at the bottom of the Utopias bottle, it said 2022, I think.
2021.
2021, because they only do odd years.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. And I had said Jim Coke already earlier, so scratch that, which I already know is Cook, but reminding myself not to say Coke, I said it anyways. So, yeah, I had it checked in as 2011. I don't know. Regardless, it was Dan, was that your first time having Utopias?
Second time.
Second time. Brandon, you and I have had that before together.
Yeah.
That was a way to really start. It really kind of set things off for the weekend, to be honest.
To set the tone.
I mean, you guys had 60-minute IPA. I had Boston Lager. We had two craft beer staples, and then to follow that right up was, Utopias, which, if you guys don't know, it's technically considered a strong ale, but it's really, it's 27, 28 ABV. It's basically like to me, it reminds me of brandy. She's a fine girl, and what a good wife she would be.
Carry on.
Anyways, I was going to ask what you guys think about it, but since you didn't laugh at my joke, we're going to move on to the next beer that they served us, which was that was the only thing that we got to have from Sam Adams, because that was all he brought. He talked for a while too, talking about what they were doing. Yeah, what's up?
No, they brought around. They didn't bring it to us. But they brought some lager.
Did they bring it, or was it Oktoberfest? They did bring around something else.
I think it was Boston Lager. I might have been wrong, but they
That's
were
right.
I think they thought we had already had it because we had the 60-minute, and it kind of was similar color a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I was looking around.
That's how we got denied.
Yeah,
because I saw them pouring full
draft pints.
I know, and they weren't draft. They were pouring them out of bottles.
They were.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and the thing that Jim was talking about was how they remastering Sam Adams' Boston Lager. They've from what he tells us, there has only really been 4 to 5 actual tweaks to the original recipe, and that this now what's going to be coming to the shelves is one step closer to what the brewer is calling perfection to Sam Adams' Boston Lager. So I don't know if I'll tell a difference, but I'm going to try it because every now and then I do buy Sam Adams Boston Lager. And they also talked a little bit about the, that was later, the non-alcoholic beers and how that happens. That's the Q&A session. After that, then Sam came up and we got to try 2 beers from Sam Adams, from Dogfish Head. One that was just bottled the Monday. We were there on Friday, and it was bottled that same Monday. We got to try Crimson Crew, and I don't really have a description for it.
So I will say that
did
was...
you look it up? I found it. Never mind.
Well, he also made the comment that we were the first people who didn't work for the breweries to try it, which was pretty cool.
I really liked it. It says deep copper, candied citrus, cherry, caramel, toffee, malty, stewed fruits, plum, full-bodied, slightly warming, 7.1%. It's technically considered a red ale / other, according to Untapped.
And they also, on Untapped, it doesn't have the full description. I remember him specifically saying that it was a blend of Rodenbach Grand Cru. So it's blended.
That's right.
It's like a red ale that they made blended with Grand Cru, which is almost like a Flemish sour type of beer.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's a Rodenbach, the logo is on the bottle.
Yeah.
I have to go back to the picture.
I think it is.
Did you guys like that one, right?
I did.
I loved it, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Actually, they came around towards the end. I think, Brandon, you had gone to the bathroom, and Dan, you were trying one of your many times to get a picture. They came back around. They still had pours of Grand Cru, or of the Crimson Cru, and I agree. Oh, yep, there it is.
That R is the Rodenbach, yeah.
Yep.
So I did get to have a little bit more of that. The next one they did was the Wake Up Worldwide Stout. If you guys are not familiar, Worldwide Stout is an imperial stout, and this one, per Sam, has the equivalent of 2 cups of coffee in a 12-ounce bottle.
And it tasted like it.
Yeah.
It did. I loved it.
I love coffee.
I love coffee. I love coffee beers. Clark would have hated it. Clark is not a big coffee beer guy.
That's shocking.
What?
Because he's like an early morning dad. Like, how does he not drink coffee?
And every time Cafe Death comes out, he gets it.
Does he not like coffee? Like just like straight up?
No, he likes coffee. I don't think he's I don't think he's just a huge fan of coffee beers in general.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be like, something that really stands out to him. But yeah, that kind of wrapped up. I mean, that's a very shortened version of that brunch. That was a good time. That was awesome. We got a picture with Jim. We tried getting a picture with Sam, but that didn't happen. We were going to go on some tours of a brewery, but since we all had or multiple breweries, that was going to take place right after this brunch. But because we had all been up since around 3:30 and had gone to bed around 11, we decided it was best for us to enjoy the fest by going back to the hotel, or actually checking into the hotel and taking a quick nap, which lasted how long?
Thank God the hotel
45
had
minutes.
a room available for us to do that.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
And Dan had to unfortunately watch the Tampa Bay Rays lose their first game of 2 that they were going to lose this weekend.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dan. But you did get some soccer in. So after that, we ventured out, and I'm going to skip the 7-Eleven story. We don't need to go through that. Dan and I were accosted. But we ended up
the
going.
Coffee shop.
Oh, yeah, we did. What's the name of that coffee shop?
Oh, I took a picture of it.
Tea and me and Leaf and
it
Bean.
It was 2
Bean and
teas.
Leaf.
It was Tea with Tay Cafe.
Tea with Tay Cafe, which was
it was
super great place.
Yeah, but it's so funny because you guys know, like right next to the hotels, there is
right.
a Starbucks. And I usually skip that one and get the one that was closer to my office. That was the Starbucks that was there. And so you walk in there, it looks like somebody stripped out a Starbucks and then put up some like new signs because it's very Starbucks vibe, but also very local coffee shop vibe. And while I didn't get any coffee there, the folks there were super cool and chill. It was a cool spot.
They were super nice, and the coffee was very good. I drank mine very fast. I needed that espresso jolt. We ended up, per Dan's request, over at Oskar Blues, their tap room, brew pub. Sorry, yes, brew pub, tap room. No, they're not brewing in there, are they? No,
I don't think so. No.
Tap room and restaurant, which was fun. That was cool. It was a little crowded when we got there, but food was good, and we all got there. Which I got an email this week of it just being released. Hazy Blues is just released this week in cans.
So nice.
I feel like that was another first time thing we probably got to try that a whole bunch of other people didn't get to try. So
Yeah,
Hazy Blues,
I think
it's pretty good.
The bartender waitress, I think she said that it just happened.
Silver, shout out to
Silver.
Silver over at Oskar Blues. What a great job you did.
Silver, like the tequila.
Right. And who doesn't love tequila, right, Silver? Right. That was a good time. That was fun. So it kind of prepped us and got us in the right mindset to head on to.
I have to say,
go ahead, please.
bomb ass veggie burger there. I really enjoyed it. Sauteed.
Their fish and chips were also very good.
Yeah, they had like a sauteed jalapeno mushroom and then like a beer cheese on top.
Ooh,
And Brandon, you got the spicy chicken sandwich.
I did, and it was very tasty.
You and I were going to go for wings, and Silver came back with the information that wings were not available. Bummer.
Almost lost us.
We almost walked out. At that. Yeah, and so from there, we headed out. And do we go back to the hotel
I
first?
think we got our badges.
Like the song?
Yeah, we went and got our badges. And then we went back because we had to get our bags, or the bag and everything with some stuff in it. And then, I think then we slowly made our way over. And slowly, we crossed the street,
Yeah, that was also, Brandon, big props to you for really spearheading and coordinating this entire trip for us. You handled booking everything, car, hotel, the flights. So I know we've thanked you before, but I do want everyone to know. There was someone we were talking to on Saturday that because I was holding the bag, and we were talking to some random people by the bathrooms and I wanted to give him stickers, and I'm so used to you doing that. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I've got the bag, so I've got the stickers." And as we're walking, I'm like, "No, seriously, Brandon does everything. I'm just the first voice that you hear, and then I edit the podcast." So, Brandon, thank you very much for putting all of it together to make sure that we had, like, honestly, one of the best trips ever, the best trip possible, and this is like the smoothest trip that I think could have possibly happened for us. Just literally getting up at the crack of dawn to get there and get back. We made our flights. We were home safe and sound. So thank you.
Yeah, and I think we super lucked out with, like, we had zero flight issues. Like,
except I lost my dongle for my phone on the way home.
I'm going to check. It might be in the bag. For some reason, I feel like at the fest you pulled it out and you said, "Why is this in my pocket?" And I said, "Put it in the bag." And you went like bloop and dropped it in the bag.
Oh man, I think so. Plot thickens.
Right.
Actually, it opens.
I'll check at the break.
It opens up thing. Anyways,
yeah.
But before, because I think we're running pretty good. This is gonna be a long one. We spent a lot of time on brunch. We still have interviews to splice in to this fucking show. Let's get to the fest, okay? Let's get to night one. It's Friday, or not one. Night one. Night one
for us.
Night two for the actual festival. It was really interesting to be on this side of a festival because we had media badges. We were able to walk in with the brewers, walk in with other media people, walk in with industry people.
Walk in with a bag.
Walk in with a bag and just go straight in, and there was no lines and no crowds and anything. We saw like the seas of people because it was all, roped off in different areas for people to get in. We were able to just head straight over to whatever booth we wanted to. And the first booth we stopped at, Russian River.
Yeah.
Dan, what did you get?
I got the beatification. Yeah, it was Russian River, and there was already a line there with just the media people in there and brewers.
It was a fast line. Well, when we got there, at least it was fast. But I remember on Saturday that line being extremely long.
Oh yeah,
because Brandon did a really cool time lapse or hyperlapse video of people coming in. But Brandon and I went straight for Pliny. It's been a long time since I had Pliny. If I'm not mistaken, Brandon or my brother-in-law Myke have what beer did you have again?
Me?
Yeah.
Beatification.
Yeah, beatification. Brandon, do you have that, or does Myke?
I don't know. I could check.
I think you have it in your little fridge. So I haven't had Pliny in a long time, so I wanted to have that again.
No, so this one, the one that's in the fridge right here is Supplication. That's the one I left at Dan's house.
Supplication.
Dan graciously brought back. I almost actually cracked this one for this episode, but I want to save it for when we're all together because it's 2016. So,
oh boy, I'm getting there.
We probably have enough beer to do it. I have at least three Russian Rivers.
And if I'm not mistaken, we might be able to drag Myke into this. I think Myke might not have anything left, but I think he's got Russian River. From there, we had some stops we wanted to make, but it was kind of all over the place. Like my second stop was Revolution because I wanted Thundertaker because I had drank my last Thundertaker can 2 weeks before, so that was my second stop.
Speaking of which, we didn't even mention it, but
what are you guys drinking?
I'm drinking a Deets by Raspberries.
That's a 2021 variant.
I'm drinking a Cafe Deeth
from
2020.
2020, and I am drinking a bronze medal GABF 2022 winner of the fruited wheat beer, which is Sierra Nevada's Sunny Little Thing, which is very, very good. I'm not sure what it's fruited with, but it tastes very juicy. It tastes like it's orange juice. Is there anything about Friday night that stood out to you guys, whether it be a beer or a brewery or I know it's kind of generalizing, but just kind of a jump off point? I've got some beers that I wanted to talk about, but I feel like I've been talking for a while now, as I usually do.
I enjoyed a lot of beers. I'm really trying to remember, like, what did I have Friday night versus Saturday afternoon?
Dan, that's why you should have been like me, man. I got this.
Yeah, these
look at
guys
this
like
list.
wrote a
look at
list of all the
This
beers
is
they had on
Friday.
both days.
So I didn't do my list until the second day, because the first day, most of the day I was like literally anticipating recording stuff, and we didn't do as much as I would have wanted to, but
That came in Saturday.
yeah. But I was very concentrated on just like waiting for something spontaneous to happen. But I think we have a better plan for next year, when hopefully we get invited back and get to do this again and actually do some really cool stuff. So,
Side note, I haven't even checked in my Saturday beers. I checked in my Friday beers on Sunday, and then I've just been doing a whole bunch of shit at home this week that I haven't even checked in those beers. So I can't wait to check
Did you
those
get a
in this
haircut, by the
weekend.
way?
No, I have not
You look
got my
like
haircut
clean
yet.
your cut for some reason.
I shaved. There are no longer pubes under my neck anymore. My wife is thrilled about that. Well, I do have some beers that I kind of marked off to
Wait.
that
I do have
you guys.
one I
go
want to
ahead.
say.
Yeah,
And this
please
is
go
probably
ahead.
on your list. Kane, A Night to End All Dawns. I specifically
That
remember.
was the next. That was exactly the beer I was about to talk about.
Yeah,
That was
that
one that
was-
you had tried and pulled me to it.
Yeah, and I tried to pull Brandon, but
Eh.
he was chasing the what do they call it? Backpack players. I like
the
that
backpack
for a second.
Yeah. Well, and then on Saturday we waited too long, and by the time, well, not waited too long, but by the time we got over there, it already kicked. So
Everything kicked,
that
yeah.
was everything was kicking. That beer was really, really, really good. That was definitely one of my favorite beers of the entire fest. I think I checked it in. Yeah. It is from Kane Brewing Company, and they're out of Ocean, New Jersey. It's Imperial Dark Ale aged in bourbon barrels. It's funny that it says, like, I know stout's an ale, but they don't call it an Imperial Stout. They call it an Imperial Dark Ale aged in bourbon barrels. It's 12.4% ABV. It was a lot of what I was looking for. Because Brandon, what was the beer that we had in 20?
the Fellowship of Zool,
Fellowship of Zool, and that was from who?
Modern Times.
Modern Times. That was our favorite beer when we went. This had a very reminiscent, chocolately, bourbony. I don't even think the Fellowship of Zool was barrel aged. I think that was just an imperial stout that was. Had a whole bunch of adjuncts in it, but A Night to End All Dawns was really good. Probably my favorite beer of Friday night.
I think that was
So-
my favorite barrel aged stout of the fest.
So, side note, unless just because there's only a little bit left in here, I don't know if we had the 2011 Utopias, because I just poured a little bit.
Oh boy.
Dude, it's almost like paint thinner. It's like so strong. It's like,
The 2011 was? You have a 2011?
yeah.
Oh man.
And you're having yourself a night. You've got a barrel aged stout and some Utopias.
I mean,
is that Utopias in the glass? That's all it's in that glass right now.
It's not as much.
Did you do Liquid
That's-
IV before the episode?
Yeah. Shout out to Liquid IV also for keeping us
Hydrated.
Yeah, I never.
I
I
And
never
the
felt
happy
like-
hour vitamins. Well, for me, I did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys did, but
We did.
think-
I don't know.
I did,
I don't know
yeah.
which one helped, but one of them helped, or both.
I don't know. Either way, like Saturday morning,
whatever
I woke
festival
up,
I go to.
Yeah, Saturday morning I woke up feeling
doing that.
glorious. Like it was like I could do no wrong.
I felt tired, like physically, because I had woken up so early and had very little sleep, and then was up an entire regular day, and then went to bed at a decent time and got a decent amount of sleep, and that's the kind of tired I felt. I didn't feel like I was that tired. Plus, we were doing drinking on top of that. We also didn't stay for the full 4 or 5 hour, however long
We
it was.
left. There was probably an hour and 15 minutes left in the session, but I do feel like it was a good call for us to cut out at that time.
Absolutely.
Because we were able to get up. We had breakfast at a decent hour. A lot of
also
breakfast.
able to
I mean,
get-
a lot of
we were able to
breakfast.
get dinner. Like
I was gonna say-
post-fest dinner without a rush of people.
Oh yeah.
Mellow mushroom,
Oh,
baby.
mushroom, man.
Delicious pizza and those little pretzel bite things that I said don't get, but we ordered anyways.
Yeah, it's
Another beer that
And the
stood
spinach
out.
artichoke
that-
dip. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That was also very good. Another beer that stood out to me was Birdsong, their jalapeno pale ale.
Dude, I did enjoy that. I did.
I think we all pointed out that was a nice vegetal jalapeno blended well with a good pale ale and with a little bit of spice. I think that kind of sums up that beer. Am I correct?
Yeah,
say so.
kettle cooked chips.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, I think that's what Dan said. Like, really goes.
That's right.
It smells like kettle cooked jalapeno chips, and then I took.
Well, and that's the kind of jalapeno that you got from it. Yeah, it was such a good beer.
So
Another one that stood out.
I've been to Birdsong and I had that, so I already knew.
So where's Birdsong from?
They're in Charlotte, North
Okay.
Carolina.
Now I'm curious if we were to brew a pale ale and throw a bunch of jalapeno kettle chips in there in the mash.
I don't know about all that. I mean, hey, we do a 1 gallon batch.
Yeah.
Real quick, another beer that I was very happy to try, and Dan, I know you were happy to go over there. We went over to Brooklyn Brewery.
Oh yeah.
Where you got your picture, man. Who'd you get your picture with?
Garrett Oliver. I don't know if he's considered the head brewer, but he's like the face of Brooklyn Brewery and a beer writer about beer and food. And I can't remember if it's like
super nice guy.
Yeah, he's
super
super
nice
cool.
guy. Super cool. It was cool to get a chance for me personally to try their collaboration with Run the Jewels, which was the 36-inch chain Imperial Pilsner, which overall kind of reminded me of I don't know if it's sold all over the United States, but especially in Chicago, Żywiec Polish lager. That's kind of what it reminded me of. It was good. I mean that in a good way. Like Żywiec is a good beer. It's cheap, but I love that beer. But that was what it was reminiscent of. Like an Imperial Pilsner is almost an oxymoron, but it was very, very tasty, and it was very nice to be able to finally try that because I didn't get a chance to. I didn't order it when they did the Run the Brews thing with Run the Jewels. Another place that Dan you sent us off to right after that was the Lost Abbey.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. So I went back to some of the beers I tried. I was looking at some of the breweries that were on my list, and that is one I was gonna say for sure. So I had the Duck Goose, which is, of course, is their goose.
It's also the same beer that I had. It was one of my. I put that as another favorite beer of the entire fest.
Ooh,
man, this is like 3 of Tony's first 4 beers are ones I dragged him to. He says.
You didn't drag me. You guided me. You guided me to those places. Otherwise, I just would have been hung out with fucking Old Irving all day and drank till death until the fucking cows came home.
Yeah, no, but so I will say I remember Brandon got this, but the Carnival from Lost Abbey, I had that on Saturday, and I really dug it too.
I wish I would have tried that because you guys both said it was really good.
yeah.
I did
And
not
I had that one in the
it.
past. It was years ago, actually. And I looked at my check-in, I think it was an event at Fishman's. We tapped Carnival. And I enjoyed it then, and that was probably one of the highlights of the night for me because it's such a super good beer, man. Like it's got a lot of stuff that I enjoy, and it's got a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally enjoy, like kind of playing against each other, and it's it's a fun beer, man. I enjoy it.
Let's try and do a Lost Abbey episode sometime.
They used to
I
be
would like to do that.
I remember I used to see their beers everywhere.
I know.
I went to a Lost Abbey
think-
event at Bar on Buena a long time ago.
Oh wow.
I bet you we can get beer from them at Beer Temple.
I don't know. I don't feel like I've seen them recently, but maybe.
Well, we'll do some looking.
Some
I'm gonna jump
reconnaissance.
down. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna jump down further to the list. There's a whole bunch of other beers I can easily talk about, like some non-alcoholic stuff.
I do have a question for you. So one of the
Yep.
other beers. Well, let me say. All right. I remember specifically Friday night trying the Hefeweizen from Live Oak, and that was awesome. Which I just wanted to shout out.
I don't think
because it was
for sure
not something you would normally shout out.
Yeah, by the way, my third beer of a beer, like the first beer that I tried at the fest, that a beer that I haven't tried at all, was Luna Muerta Vienna Lager from Wayfinder. That was the first beer that I've never had before because the first 2 were Pliny and Thundertaker. So that was my first real I've never had a beer from this brewery that I think. So I went for a Vienna Lager. So shout out to Vienna lagers as well.
Shout out for those cool soft touch pins that we got from Wayfinder.
Ooh, yeah, those are super cool. It's still on my badge. I did wish you were here. There was a section of breweries that weren't there, but they still sent beer. I already got to try Great Lakes Christmas Ale, so I'm pretty happy that in October I've already had Great Lakes Christmas Ale. But what I did want to say was I got to try Crooked Staves Stay the Funk In, and I chose that because that has to be a play on, stay the fuck at home for the pandemic. Stay the funk in. I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but Stay the Funk In. That was fucking awesome, and it won a medal. And I don't remember what medal and what it was for. I'm pretty sure it was either silver or gold.
I can't remember if I tried that or not. I think I got Nightmare on Brett, which is like their dark sour.
I think so. Yeah, you and I were there to get Brandon. I mean, I think all three of us were together for most of it, but I think that Brandon, you may have been next at another booth or something, which was the thing, which is what we did throughout the whole thing. And the other one, Corporate Ladder.
Oh God.
It threw me for a loop, man. And it was, and it's probably a good beer. It was, but the Champurrado.
Oh, yeah.
Champurado, is that how I pronounce it? It didn't click in my head that it was going to be a spicy beer, and it was super good. And then all of a sudden it was spicy, and it just fucking threw me off, and they didn't tell me. So I was kind of bummed about that, to be honest.
I had a beer that was called like Purchase Order 001 or 002 or something like that from them. And I think it was a barrel-aged stout, but it was like way too sweet.
There was one that we went back to on Saturday that I don't want to talk about yet that Dan recommended, but we can talk about that when we cover Saturday.
I got recommended to me also, so but we can talk about
it. Here's the kicker, and probably the oddball out is I really liked the Champurado. I didn't mind the burn. I didn't expect it, but I didn't mind it.
It threw me for a loop because the first sip I was like, "Holy shit, this is so." Why is my mouth burning? Was the exact way that it.
Well, and my mouth didn't burn. My throat did. Like after the fact.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, throat.
But I was like, I was pleasantly surprised because for those that are local to Chicago. Old Irving does a Champurado version of their Krampus, and that's kind of what I went in thinking. And I was like, all right, Champurado. But then there's this fucking kick of spice that just came out of nowhere, and I was like, whoa, unexpected. And I didn't hate it. And everyone we talked to were like, oh my God, it was so hot, it was spicy. And I was like, it wasn't that bad. Like I think
it caught people off guard.
Well, yeah.
I think that was the problem. Which is like if I knew it was spicy and I knew what to expect. It's like the first time I bought Pipeworks End of Days spiced Imperial Stout. I knew it was spicy, so I knew what to expect, and I really liked it. Champurado, I mean, there's so many different variants of Krampus that I didn't put that together because I don't think I've had that.
Yeah,
one.
And so I'm just kind of looking at just a homemade recipe of Champurado in itself. And the only descriptor in there is warming spices. I'm like, those were heat bombs that were in there.
Warming spices like cayenne pepper and jalapeno.
We used ghost pepper in this beer. Like,
it's probably cayenne. Yeah.
Did not need it. That. So as much as I enjoyed it, that beer would have been perfect without the spice.
I'm like blanking. What was the name of the brewery again?
Corporate Ladder.
Corporate Ladder. I was just gonna look.
They had all the office stuff.
Yeah.
We ended up. We did. I was gonna say we tried some non-alcoholic brews as well, and one of the places that I really liked. It was hoppy water. It's called Hoplark. I had a Mosaic hop water, a Citra hop water, and a mind-blowing cinnamon water. That was the cinnamon water was insane. It was like all the good stuff of cinnamon without a sweetness. It wasn't like cinnamon powder, but it's hard to explain. But the non-alcoholic stuff was overall pretty good. We did get a chance to. We stopped over at Weldworks. I didn't write down what the name was, but Saturday, I know Brandon and I went back, and I think Dan, you did the same with Craig. We ended up back over at Weldworks a couple times. But another one that I got to try was Moore's Barrel Aged Henna Birthday, which was also very good. We didn't just, we still did some local stuff. But one that was recommended to us by our friend Beer Goggles, Rachel, was Blind Tiger's Basil Beer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, real quick, remind me, before we go to break, is a good place to throw in our little talk with Rachel. That actually will count as our break for the episode. How's that?
There we go.
We don't need music. This episode's going to be long enough where we don't need music. It'll just be us talking with Rachel. But yeah, Rachel did recommend to us Blind Tiger's Basil beer. And didn't Blind Tiger win some type of award, or am I wrong about that?
I think they did win something, but I don't remember what it was. But I was going to say, we did also talk with Rachel, we talked to Emma from Cheers to Crafts also.
Yes, correct.
Segment here.
In the segment. We ended the night, at least on my list, at Sierra Nevada, and I think in Beechwood I grabbed 2 beers. But Sierra Nevada, I had a PB Narwhal, which was awesome because that was the right amount of peanut butter that I wanted in a beer. That was perfect. It was like having a nice dark chocolate with a hint of peanut butter. So we hit that, and then we stopped one more place on the way out that night, and I'm hoping you can help me because I don't see the beer on the list. I got Beechwood that I stopped at for the last place. Yeah, that's where I tried. Was that Funk Yeah? It must have been Funk Yeah because it wasn't. Oh, Luminaire. What was a Luminaire? Yeah, I had a Luminaire and Funk Yeah, and I remember those both being good. Yeah, they were both really good. But those aren't on the list on the GABF app for some reason. But I remember we stopped at Beechwood on our way out because I saw it and I was like, oh wait, let's stop here real quick. And
I will say for Blind Tiger, they won 2 golds. Blind Tiger is out of Topeka, Kansas, and they won for their Blind Tiger Bock, and which is a Bock beer. And their smoke follows beauty, which is their smoked beer. Which also, by the way, the basil beer is also, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Bock. It may have been. Yeah, I don't. No, I remember going back, and actually I'm gonna look it up right now. I just passed Gingerbread Yeti. I'm not gonna talk about that one. Woof. I did not like it. Yeah, Dan and I. Yeah, it is a Bock. It is a Bock. Yep. So it is a 20. Oh, get Bock. This. Hell, my Bocker. Yeah. 2014 Great American Beer Festival gold medal winner. Ooh. All right. Says basil is a fantastic culinary herb. We find it lends the nuances to beer very well. Yeah, we start with our Maibach as a base for this beer. Yeah, and my one comment on that when I smelled it, I was like, "This smells like Thai food." And you know what's hilarious? In the best way. In the best way. Absolutely, yeah. The description says goes well with spicy Thai food. Hey. And by the way, Funk Yeah was a lambic. That was the last beer that we. Oh fuck! So was a Luminaire. A Luminaire was also. We tried both of those, I think, back to back. We did. So we had 2 lambics back to back, and that's how we ended out. Friday night. And with that, I think this is a good time to take a break as we're through hour number 1 of our GABF 2022. I think we're almost an hour recap. And for the break, here is a short little interview that we had while at GABF with Beer Goggles and who'd you say? Emma.
Also, Dan?
Emma.
Yeah, cheers to crafts.
Yeah, cheers to craft. Sorry, Emma. We do like you. It was very nice meeting you. So here's that, and we'll be right back for our Saturday recap, starting with, were the potatoes at the hotel better than the potatoes at brunch? You'll have to stick around and find out. We'll be right back.
And go. All right, so we finally found Rachel. Beer Goggles. All right, so your thoughts. Be sure to tell everybody where we You were at the session yesterday, too, right? All right, so what are your thoughts so far?
So far, so good. I was very overwhelmed when I walked in yesterday, almost just turned around and left. Happy I stayed. Nice to know, the lay of the land, and not, I prefer the approach of not having a plan. Just running around, grabbing beers here, there, waiting in line only for tacos, not for beer.
Is it the taco truck?
Yeah, the taco trucks. Tacos were worth the wait because they were spicy, actually. They weren't white people tacos, and I really appreciated that.
You should also introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry. I'm doing what Rachel always does in Crashing the Podcast. I'm Emma. I also write for Porch Drinking like Rachel does. My Instagram's Cheers to Crafts, hence Beer Goggles blog, the whole thing. So go get the tacos, Yeah.
All right, so favorite beer so far, if you have one?
Ooh, I loved, we really loved that cardamom porter from
No, but Dan was talking about BJ's Brewing.
It's really good. I have it written down. Let me quick open it. Yes. And then there's been a lot of like sours and saisons have been probably the style that I've been doing the most of.
That's Dan's wheelhouse right there.
The Imaginary Grace from Monday Night Brewing was awesome. And they're out of Atlanta, Georgia. That was really good. The Funkworks Wild number 2, awesome.
Yeah, Dan had that.
That's the one I think Matt just told us from Old Irving to go and try.
There was also at the Wish We Were Here, like taproom area, the pickle beer.
Yes.
So that was another one.
From
Did you end up
Normal,
trying
from
the
Distill.
Distill Brewery. It is a liquefied Clausen pickle. It is incredible, amazing. I eat pickles every day.
Now I need to get that because I love pickles.
I want to go. That's what I'll go back for, like multiple pours.
My wife is not a fan of beers unless they're sour. And then I think it's Three Blondes in Michigan, Three Blondes Brewing. They have a cucumber goza that she fell in love with. So if I can keep finding her pickle beers, then I can get her on board.
It is so good.
So sours seem to be maybe the best way to go.
I also feel like they tend to be lower ABV, and with this is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not trying to down 15%. I was at the Sam Adams brunch thing this morning.
Yeah, we were there.
Oh, I was there, and the 29% Utopia. I'm like, I'm gonna have one fucking sip of this and call it because it's 10 a.m. and I have things to do today.
We all drink our
We had
Utopias.
just gotten off the plane from Chicago and went straight to the brunch.
Oh my god.
We've been up since 3,
Nice.
but we also got like an hour and a half
How are
nap.
you like doing?
Vitamin, the IV stuff. You know,
It's amazing. The happy hour vitamins. Are you taking a vitamin?
We were also supposed to do a tour at noon that we got, that they invited people to, and we decided after because the brunch ended like at 11.
Okay.
We got back, we dropped off, we had a rental car, we dropped that off and went to the hotel, and we're just like, our hotel's literally right across the street from here, so we were like, we could walk over there, but I was like, or we can nap, and we all just crashed. We're also on a kind of a side quest to find the best non-alcoholic beers here as well.
Hoplark. Literally, Hoplark is right here. They gave me a cinnamon.
Oh, that's so awesome. Which one? The Mosaic one?
Yeah, the Mosaic, but I loved they didn't have a can of the Outer Range collab, but the Outer Range collab is amazing. It's just the Outer Range collab. Oh!
Wah, 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 wah.
Just keep going. Sorry, continue.
No, I was saying Hoplark. Like, I love Hoplark. It's so good.
Did you try their cinnamon one?
Yes, we tried it.
Cinnamon
Literally,
one
it
was
was amazing.
How weird is that?
I love like everything cinnamon always,
Yeah.
but that was fucking great.
Yeah, I was it was nice. I said it's like everything I like about a cinnamon Pop-Tart without the sugar and carbs.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, I would
It's
do that
fantastic.
all the time.
I hope they come to Illinois sometime soon.
They do.
They are.
Sugar,
So
like,
you can get, it's not everything, like the cinnamon one you can't get, but like the Mosaic one and the hop tea, they're at Whole Foods. I don't know if they're at like Binny's or anything, but you can get it. You can also get it delivered. I don't know what the price is for delivery, but you can get it like at Whole Foods. So, yeah.
Oh, now
I'm not a representative there, I promise.
But you're selling it well, though. You're selling it well.
It's so good. Like, it's just so nice to like have a non-alcoholic, like
No, it is.
hoppy thing. Like,
Well, and having like a hoppy, hydrating drink right now is the perfect thing to do at a fest like this. So, yeah. There was a dance move that was involved after she said that.
this is a listening media, so yeah, perfect for my moves.
All right, well, we won't keep you guys anymore. It was good to see you. Good to meet
Good
you.
to meet you.
Yeah, we'll catch up again.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to cram this all into one episode, we're going to break it up into 2 parts. Come back this Thursday for part 2 of our Great American Beer Fest recap. This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at the Malting Hour.